And welcome to this short video on how to move a site into a domain. So let's say you have a Google site that you've created in your public or personal account and you've been asked to move it into your school domain. Let's walk through that process. We have some written instructions here, but we'll walk through it here. So let's start off. First of all, I am in my public account or my personal account. I'm going to go to a site that I've created here that I want to move into the domain. So the first thing I need to do is to go to More Actions, Manage Site, and from here I can get to Sharing and Permissions. I can also get the sharing permissions directly from the pull-down menu as well. But here in Sharing and Permissions, one of the things we need to do now is to share this site with someone or yourself in the new domain. So I have an account in my domain, so I'm going to type that in there. And I want to give myself ownership rights. I'm not going to notify them by mail, not necessary. I'm going to click Save and Share and say OK. And so my site now is shared with myself, actually, in the domain. It could also be with another account that your domain administrator had indicated if they're going to do this for you. And so now, let's go to our next step. Now, once we've done that, then we need to log into our domain account. So I'm going to move over to another screen here. I'm logged into my domain account. You can see up in the top right-hand corner, it looks a little different here. So I'm in my domain. And I am going to go to More. And I'm going to select Sites because I want to go to my Sites area inside my domain. So here I am, and if you're seeing a little different screen, that's because I've been updated now to the new view of Google Sites. So here are all the sites that are in my domain. Now, here is the catch. It will not show up in this list of sites. We actually will need a URL to get to those sites that you've been invited to. It's sort of like in limbo out there. So let's go back and take a look and see where that is. In the written instructions down here, we do have that URL for you. So I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to select it. And I'm going to get back over here to my other browser. So I'm here in my sites, and I'm going to come up to my URL window, and I'm going to paste that in there and hit return. You probably didn't see that because it's not in view. But here we go. It's actually going to take me to a list of all the sites that have been shared with me in my domain. And there it is. It's Tony's Tutorial Sandbox. And I will open it. Now that I've opened this, I must now copy this site so it will exist in my new domain. So I'm going to go to More, select Manage Site. And I'm going to go to the general area, on the left-hand side, and I'm going to scroll all the way down, and I'm going to copy this site. I cannot use this site because this site has a specific URL, and so when I copy it, it will generate a new URL for this site that is part of the domain. So I'm going to select Copy this site. And I'm going to give this a new name, and I'm just going to call this Tony Toot Sandbox. You can name it whatever you'd like. The naming convention inside the domain is not as restrictive as a public one because there's only so many people in the domain. We have a couple of options here, even if you have a slightly different view. We have two options: include revisions and copy site members. I generally don't copy site members because site members who have been invited before have a different address now inside the domain. So I just clear that out, basically. I can include all the revisions of the site, or I can choose not to. Just start fresh, but I'll have the entire site there. It's totally optional, so we can just leave that if you'd like. And then up here at the top, I have Copy. Down at the bottom, the old one, it says Create, but I'm going to click on Copy. And Google now will create that site and put it in my list of sites. So here it is. it actually has a little logo up there for our domain. That's my new site. And so I'm now going to go to my sites, and I should be able to see in my list of sites that I've created or have been invited to, in my domain, it should be listed there. There we go. Tony's Toot Sandbox. So now keep this in mind, though, that you actually have two identical sites, two different sites that are identical in two different locations. I want to encourage you to remember that you should make changes only to this new site inside the domain and not to your personal account. Let's back over there for just a moment. I'll just show you what I mean. If I get back to my personal account, this is the old site. Forgot to save that. One of the things that I do to remind myself, now that this old site is not being used, I will sometimes go in here to the home page of that site. I will edit it, and I will put something like "do not use." And I'll put it in nice big bold letters. So that just reminds me that I am not going to use that anymore. I could delete the site, but I'm just going to leave it up in case there are some issues or I have to get something off of it or whatever. But right now I'm just going to hang on to it over there. Now domain administrators could actually do this too, just to remind you that you're not to use that if they're the ones moving the domains. So I'm over my personal account. Let's get back over to my domain account. There's just a couple other things here to think about. Now this new site is up and running. There's two things that you want to check on. Number one, you'll notice now that that new site that you copied defaults to private. And so you'll have to change the sharing settings if you want this site to be viewed by parents or outside the domain. So to do that, I simply go to More, and I go to Sharing and Permissions, or I could get there by go to Manage Site as well. I'm going to go to Sharing and Permissions. And as you can see, it's listed to private right now. And I need to change that because I want my folks to see it. So I can click on Change. And when I click on Change, I have a number of visibility options. Pick the one that best works for you. Maybe it's a site that's just going to be seen in your domain, so you have that option. Or maybe it's a site that's going to be open to the web. It's my companion classroom for my class or classes, and I want my parents and students to see it. So I'm just going to click on this one for right now, Public on the Web, and Save Changes. There's also another little nuance here you want to be aware of. Notice that if you did previously share this site with others, you will need to re-invite them to the site because we did not bring over collaborators or editors and so on. That's just something you'll want to do. So we've got that shared. Go back to my Sandbox. And back to this. So that's moving a site into a domain. I hope you found the video helpful. So have a good day.